Hello, hello everyone. The wait is over. We are going live in a few moments, but first let's have a cool chill out music.
I found someone new now. I have more room, no more formats to chain me. On the same page, we are effortless, schemaless, living in the future, you and me, made for us, serverless, living in the future of the clouds.
All right, and we are live, Kirsten. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So we are together for 2 hours, but before going, maybe we should do a sound check. So how do you do, Kirsten, today?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Cedric? It's great. Been gone for quite a while, and I'm so excited to get back into it.
Yeah, that's great. Happy to be here with everybody. And today we will do some JavaScript, and this is why we brought our expert. All right, audio is great. Okay, so let's keep moving. All right, so okay. I'm starting though. So I'm Cedric Lunven, leading the developer advocacy team at DataStax, public trainer. If you want to have me in your network, here are my coordinates. But I mean, if you are with us every week, you can be used to this slide. No. Today the big guest is Kirsten with me. So yeah, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hunter, I've been with DataStax for a few years, but I was off for a little while. I've been doing API evangelism for and I love finding different ways to help people get excited about using our APIs. And we can't wait to see what you guys build once you go through what we have.
Let's do it. So, what is the agenda today? Oh, well, before the agenda, come on. It's not only me and Kirsten on screen. As usual, we are a distributed team across the world, building that content for you. So not only the slides, but also the README. It has been extensively reviewed, not to have any issues when it's possible. So, thank you, the whole team, to be there to support us. And one of, multiple of those will be in the chat answering your question today. So we are live on YouTube today, and if you have any question, we will be monitoring the YouTube chat. But if right now you are watching a recording and you still have question, we are on Discord anytime to help you. You also see the link here in the description. It's an interactive session. So at the end of the session, we will have a little quiz. So ask you a couple of questions. So stay with us up to the end and get a chance to see your name on screen to play this game. It's a technical workshop, so we will have hands-on and we expect you to do the hands-on. But do not worry, you do not have to install anything. All the materials, slide exercise, README instruction are available on GitHub. And to do the exercises, you will have the database in the cloud with the service called DataStax Astra DB. And for the IDE, it will be VS Code, but VS Code in the cloud. You don't have to install it yourself. It's a platform called Gitpod, which are full-fledged VS Code and all the plugins available to you. So we are kind of fond of this solution. It's just great, and it speed up a lot what we want to do. Last but not least, today, we will deploy a full website on Netlify. So not only you will have the app running locally, but you know, fortunately, you will also have it running in the cloud.
And I want to step in. This is fantastic if you're a new developer and you go to hackathons. One of the first things you need to do at a hackathon is to bring up a whole stack. And this is a whole stack. It's got your database, it's got your backend, it's got your front end, everything running. So if you do this a couple times, when you get to that hackathon, you can bring up your whole application stack in 15 minutes and be ready to rock. So this is a great setup to have in your pocket.
Exactly. Yes. Okay, so the purpose, the objective of today is to show you at least a demo how to build a front-end app using React, how to build a backend app with JavaScript without Express.js. I would like you to know what is Apache Cassandra database, how it's different from SQL or Mongo that maybe you have already used. What is Gitpod? We already told you about that. And what is Astra DB? You know, we got a question, can we use VS Code? Well, if you use VS Code, you will have to look in the instruction. You have a couple of extension plus tools to install locally. So it's better to stick to Gitpod for this 2-hour session, but later on, if you want to come back to the session, yeah, you could use VS Code. But yeah, let's keep the session running. If you complete all the steps with us today, you can submit your homework and get this nice badge that you can, you know, brag with on LinkedIn. So no certificate just to attend the session, but a badge if you complete the homeworks. It's super simple, just a couple of questions and a screenshot of your app running, you know, as simple as that. So that's the agenda for today. We want to build an app, and this time we wanted to put on the, you know, be in your seat. If I ask you to build the app, what are the steps and how do you do that? We try to adapt this methodology, and then we will have a focus on each layer in the app if you want. So the purpose of today is to build a TikTok clone, as the name stated, so not a surprise. So your mission is to build a TikTok clone, deploy that to production with a global CDN using one of the most robust and scalable NoSQL databases on the planet. And yeah, so now it's your turn. So good luck and see you in 2 hours.
I don't think that's fair, Cedric. I don't think that's fair, Cedric. Maybe we should.
Yes, we will. And as a matter of fact, we keep talking about TikTok. Astra DB is actually running Josh, which is a super popular app in India, I've heard. So with 300 million users already, that app is actually running on the stack we will show you today. So, you know, pretty cool and pretty proud also that these, you know, big names is already using the stack. Okay, so you want to build an app. Sure. The app should run on mobile, also probably on desktop application. So what should you do? What kind of technical stack should you pick? Should you pick iOS and Swift, Objective-C, or Android using Kotlin, Java? If you want to implement a desktop app, so which technical stack? Do you want to use the native macOS languages, or C++, C# for Microsoft, or even some Linux? It's not hard to define, right? And you know, each of those technology have some strength. It's native, it's running natively on your device, natively on your desktop, but at the same time it has some weakness, because if the app run on Android and iOS, then you need to create it twice and do the code twice, because you could have the same app installed on both store. Same for the desktop app. And you know, so many things to handle. What about the compliance? Are they in sync? So it's not so easy. So what you want to do maybe is to switch to web application. Now you are just building, it's not just, you are building a web app, and this web app will be rendered either on a mobile phone, tablet, a desktop, but in the end it's still a it's still a web app. This is what we call also a progressive app. When you are using something like, Discord, you might think you download an app and start using the app. Actually, it's just a web view. It's an empty app, and inside you are touching a web app. Actually, it's great because you don't have to update this app so often. You just have to update the web app under the hood. People don't have to download again and again your app to the store. So it could have some great value. Also, you are building the stuff once and running on multiple platforms. So today, no surprise, we will focus on building a web app. In this channel, we have also some sample how to build some native React and also some Swift apps. So do not hesitate to look at the channel, go back in the history, find some workshop on mobile technologies. Today we will focus on a web app. So the first layer of the web app will be the front end, presentation layer. And no surprise, what you want to use is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But what about the backend? Well, this JavaScript will have to talk to something, and this something, and even if you're a beginner, I'm sure that you know that we need to talk to APIs. But there are plenty of available APIs, so multiple format, multiple where to code, implement, expose. The three main and well-known are REST, most and foremost, GraphQL, and lately gRPC, but not so much. And for the database, again, plenty of choices. Cassandra DB, Cassandra, MongoDB, PostgreSQL, Oracle. It's a lot of choices. So, let's together try to find the stack we want to use today. Okay, that's kind of
So Cedric, are you saying that you can access Cassandra using APIs?
Out of the box, Cassandra does not offer anything, right? It's you install, you connect
just
Cassandra.
SQL, yeah.
But I think we can do something about it today. All right, yeah, good call. Okay, so when this slide decided to move, okay, so if you ask Google Trends, what are the more in use framework today regarding UI and JavaScript UI? So you will find these big three: Vue.js, Angular, React. Svelte is also getting a lot of popularity lately. But if you look at the curve, we could assume that React is still leading. And so today, the front end is built with React. And again, we will not ask you to build the front end. It's there. We will ask you to browse the code, understand how it works, and when you need to build a React app, you can start with that, copy paste, and start working with that. And here it is. First layer, let's use React. So to implement React, we will create a React app, and the runtime to run React native locally is this Node.js server. Okay, it's built in JavaScript, but Node.js is the one that is running under the hood to expose your app into 3000 port. Okay, that's the front end. But with the front end, you are not doing anything. You're not accessing the data. It's not a full stack application. You need a backend. So what about the backend? Again, let's take a step forward. As a backend, you have plenty of choice. Not only GraphQL, REST, or gRPC, but also the languages. Most apps are using JavaScript for the front end and something else for the backend. And Is there one better than the others? It's also depend on what are your skills in your team. Here I put the main frameworks in Java, Spring, Quarkus, and Micronaut. The main framework in JavaScript, to my knowledge, in JavaScript. So Express, Apollo Server for GraphQL API, and Netlify. We can also quote Next.js and a lot of JS framework providing that for you. And for Python, FastAPI, Flask, and Django. Because this session is JavaScript, we picked JavaScript for the backend as well, and we pick Netlify. Maybe that's something new for you, but it needs to be at least discovered once. And maybe Kirsten, you're quite skilled in Netlify. Maybe you can tell us a few more about Netlify and Jamstack overall.
Oh, it's really actually fantastic. If you're using a React application, you're going to have some kind of functions that want to interact with the outside system. And Netlify makes this super easy. And there's a great example of it here in the repository that we're going to be sharing with you. It really is possible to have a stack that has Cassandra and Netlify and React, and you just put it together. And by the end of this workshop, you'll have one that you can start playing with and see how those functions work together, those serverless functions. They are basically Lambda functions. So that's, if you're familiar with that from AWS, that's what the functions are. But they're held in the cloud, and you don't have to host them anywhere.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm sure you will realize what it does by the end of the session, because you will use it actually today. So second layer here, we put Netlify. So Netlify, it's still JavaScript and running on Node.js, at least for the local. So what about the database? Oh, if you're a JavaScript experienced developer already, you know that, when we need a database, we use Mongo, right? And because we have existing stack, min stack, meaning Mongo, Express, Angular, Node, and Mern stack, Mongular, Express, React, Node. And I mean, nothing about it. It's a natural reflex, because this is the existing stacks. And today I would like to change that, use something else, and see that it's not very different. That's Mongo. It will be Cassandra, but I would like you to realize why. So first idea, we can go with SQL, relational, MySQL, Postgre, Oracle. But here we are dealing with an app, the Josh app, with 300 million active users. That's probably millions of requests per second. And if the relational database is very good for real-time response, there is a limit. There is a limit in throughput, and there is a limit of capacity. If you increase the capacity, if you increase the volume that is stored in the database, the response time gets lower and lower and lower. And same, if you increase the throughput, at some point you cannot really achieve the expected SLA. Too much is going on, and you need to scale by adding some machine. So here with 300 million, we need to scale. Scale a relational database is not easy. Why? Because that system has been designed and think to run on a big machine, back in the day, 30 years ago. But now you need to scale with the new requirements. So what should you use to achieve this scalability requirement? I told you, first idea would be to use Mongo. Mongo, web scaled, as they stated. Well, not really. When you scale Mongo, actually you would have to shard the data, split the data on multiple machine, multiple node, and that's for you to decide how to shard. And then you will have this query router that, based on what you want to write, will have to pick one shard or the others. but it's manually sharded. Also, as you can see, you can easily scale the read by creating a lot of secondary node, but the primary will remain, just one per shard. And if you lose the primary for one shard, you can have some unavailability period. Today, we want to switch to Apache Cassandra. So here put big data ready with read and write performance, linear scalability, high availability, self-healing and automation. Let's dig quickly into that. So Cassandra is a NoSQL distributed database. You can install Cassandra on the single machine and you will get 2 to 4 terabytes of data, 3 to 5,000 transactions per second and per core. But hey, it's distributed. You want to install Cassandra on multiple machines. In that configuration, this time, there is no master. It's peer-to-peer communications. Also, the data is replicated on multiple machines just for resiliency. So with peer-to-peer and data replicated, I mean, you can lose any of the node. It's not a big deal. The system is still available and will still respond. And if your node goes back online, it will catch up with everything it could have missed. So this configuration.
But Cedric, how many clusters can you really have? I mean, there's big companies using Cassandra. How many nodes, how many clusters do they actually have? Like Apple.
That's a very good question.
Don't they have like 200,000 nodes?
I'm glad you asked because I have exactly a slide on that. So keep moving with this deployment. Here it is. At Apple, they do have 300,000 nodes of Cassandra. So no surprise that the big giants like the GAFAM need the database that scale a lot, and at some point, Cassandra is one of the only that can keep up with that volumetry, throughput, and still provide real-time answer. So we have talked to you about Josh. Anything starting with iCloud running on Apple, running on Cassandra, and then Netflix. Here you see a screenshot: 22,000 node, 900 cluster, so many petabyte of data. Live, okay, it's real-time data. It's not, take queries that takes minutes. It's just, milliseconds response time. And we had the tech lead of Netflix in that channel last year, and he told us like plus than 90% of the data at Netflix were using on that database. So that's quite a lot, right? So hey, this is the one that we will use. Now, you can have one ring here, but you can also have multiple rings. The idea is to have the data as close as possible to your user to reduce the latency. And there you can read and write from everywhere, and Cassandra will replicate the data for you. So you with your mobile app interacting, Uber is using Cassandra as well. So you are using Uber, go catch your plane in Europe, whatever, take the plane, arrive, somewhere else in India, update, all this, it's had been updated. All the transactions are replicated in real time by Cassandra. It's not on you to do it. And what you can do here with this geographic configuration, you can also do it technically speaking or with multiple environments. So here on this slide, you have the same Cassandra cluster with one data center on each cloud provider, the hyperscaler. And so it's possible to have a single data layer available across multiple clouds. So this seems to be interesting, for us, because maybe today we are running locally, but for some reason we want to move to AWS when a region open there, or AWS is too expensive, we want to switch to Azure. Well, with that solution, it's possible. Speaking of running in AWS, does the AWS provide Apache Cassandra as a service in the cloud? Well, they cannot really, because Apache Cassandra is protected by the Apache 2 license. And so, I mean, we won't have to change the license anytime soon because we are kind of protected. So it's kind of a protection against vendor lock-in. So in a nutshell, we are pretty proud of Cassandra. I mean, at DataStax, we are doing everything we can to ease the usage of Cassandra. And for all these reasons, high available, linear scalability, low latency, and global distribution. But you know, for today, this app, clone of TikTok, totally makes sense. And this is it. We are our full technical architecture for today. We told you will not have to install Cassandra locally. We will use Cassandra in the cloud. Service is called Astra DB. So it was a lot of talking. So I think it's now time to get our hands dirty. All right, getting started with databases. All right. Okay, so now is the time where we start working together. I will slide here. Hey, you know, Kirsten, go here. Yep. I will make you come close to me. Here we go. Just for yeah, just for, you know, readiness of what is written in the instruction. That's funny, right? So let's do it. Okay, so all the instructions are here in GitHub. It was not a lie. Here you have everything. The organization is DataStax devs, and all our workshops are there for you to use and you know, watch the recording and see it again and again. And you know, so today will be the TikTok clone, but we have plenty of technology and plenty of stuff to demo. By the way, if you like the session, if you like the format, if you like what we are doing, maybe now is the good time just to click the like button and subscribe to the channel, because we are there at the same times every week. So here, table of content, objective, ask question. Okay, you can read that at your own pace. Homeworks. What we need is, let's go. Start the hands-on. Getting started with the database. We will start by creating the database because it's the one that's taking the most time to start. And also we want to start with the basics, the data, and go layer after layer up to having the full app running. Okay, so here what you do is right click and select open as a new tab to open actually this Astra UI that you see here on my right side. You need a GitHub account for today or a Google account. Here I will sign in with my Google account. Oh, I was already signed up, so do it again. Let's do it. Okay. All right, and I will pick my Google account over here. Here we go. And yeah, my machine is a bit slow today. I think it's doing a lot of things at the moment. But bear with me. I mean, if I'm going slow, at least you can follow up and do the same step as me. Okay, here we are logged in. Let's go. Okay, and what I will do, I will use an organization that we keep using for the demo. Yes. So here it is explained how to create a database. So you are going to create database. you provide the database names workshops. Here, see all the values to copy paste are provided to you. The key space name is TikTok. Okay, so here TikTok key space. Let's go. The cloud provider is Google because it's a free tier. I mean, the system is free to use if you are not using more than 80 million queries a month. So for any student project, for any POC, POV, perfect platform, right? Free, no charge.
Even a small company could run on the free.
Exactly. I mean, 80 million queries a month, that's something, right? Okay, so I pick workshop TikTok. Now I pick the cloud providers GCP. The region is North America, and the region here you see some region are locked with a locker. I will use the region that is not locked over here. I click there. When everything is clicked, I can here create databases. Okay, so here let me also create the databases. So here you got these output. It will start initializing, pending, finish it up. When the screen become green, your database is now active. You can start using it and click go to database. Actually, you can even go to database before it's ending. Okay. Now, I mean, if you are already with us or did a couple of workshops with us already, maybe you already have these workshop database running. If that's the case, you will go to this existing database and click resume if it's hibernated. This is my case just before, and I click quickly on resume just to get the time for the database to resume. And look, this database workshop exists, but the key space is not what I like. I would like to have the key space, TikTok key space. So this is exactly what I will do. TikTok key space here. And I will just save. And now I will have 2 key spaces. So a key spaces is a logical grouping of resources. Cassandra cluster can be huge. And of course, on a Cassandra cluster, maybe multiple applications will work. The best practice is to have 1 key space for each app. So here I created key space, and now my database is active. Okay, so I'm good to go. So in Cassandra, you will store tables. But here, what we want to use for TikTok app is using document API, document-oriented DB. So let's see what we can do. But, you know, maybe before going back to slide, I should pause, watch some question, and maybe wait for something in the chat telling that you have successfully created your database. Something like a thumb up, something like okay, something just you know, and then we will wait for you, me and Kirsten, and yep, we will start again when you are okay. I see that Lisa catch up. That's good. And I also see that we are quite some people on YouTube, and you know, you stay with me. So yeah, let's keep going and have this app built. And during the time your app is starting, and during the time that you are creating the key space, I can go to slide mode just briefly and say, as of now, what we have done is just click that create Astra DB button, and our database running. No surprise, it's a Cassandra database. But what is cool with Astra DB, inside that solution, of course you have Cassandra, but you have a bit more than that. Actually, if you dig into Astra DB, you will find something else. So let's have a look. In Cassandra, you store tables. So sometimes it's good. This is what you want. There is a schema. There is a strong schema to exactly know what are the type, what is a primary key, what is a partition key. So a primary key in a Cassandra database is exactly what you expect. A primary key will ensure the unicity of a record. But there is something else called a partition key, and this partition key will actually explain you how the data is distributed across the nodes. So here, based on the value of the partition key, data is distributed in the node. No surprise, actually. You cannot have the database that scale that much without a clever way to distribute the data across the node. So even right now, maybe you realize that select star from this table is not a good idea, because you need to get a few rows for each node. And in development on your laptop, maybe it's fast, but in production with thousands of nodes, it could take even minutes. What you want to do is actually shape your table based on your queries. And it's wonderful, right? If you apply that methodology, you will have great performance. At the same time, today, this is not what we want. Today, we want to work with JSON. After all, we are working with JavaScript, and the first J of JSON is JavaScript. So you can use JavaScript with Cassandra. I mean, you can do insert video JSON if you wish. The problem, if you want, is you have the schema. So you cannot insert any type of document like maybe we want to do. And also you still have this strong constraint of partition key and primary key. So to go beyond that, we need something else. If you want to go schemaless, you need something else, something that you will put on top of Cassandra to expose these API. So again, we are talking about APIs, not even talking about the backend, yes, but at the database level, Astra DB provides you something that you can work with and interact the database and work with documents. And this proxy, that proxy or data API gateway, is called Stargate. You as a developer, you don't even have to know that stuff is called Stargate. What you need to know is, hey, in the platform, you do have an API to work with documents. Perfect, this is exactly what we want. And this API is working like that. Keyspace, you know, the one that we created before, named Keyspace TikTok or TikTok Keyspace, I don't remember. It can also be called a namespace. Why are we using the namespace label? It's like, I mean, it's what they are in use with Mongo. And here we are trying to reproduce the MongoDB workload. So in a namespace, you will find multiple collections, you know, same as what you want with any document-oriented DB. Inside a collection, you will find documents, but this time the documents does not have any strong schema. You can insert two totally different documents in the same collection. You lose this strong schema validation. And here on the slide, I put you what a document look like. It does have a payload with attributes. It's a JSON, obviously. A collection name to know what it's about, and a unique ID. So a document does have a unique ID in a collection. When you insert a document, if you do not provide an ID, the platform will generate one for you, but you can also provide your own identifier. Okay, so I mean, no need to dig more into it. Just remember that with Astra platform, you can interact to the database as it was a document-oriented DB, and you should feel very at ease if you are already using Mongo. So let's have a look to this API, back to the end zone mode. And you know, Kirsten, yeah, come back close to me, please. Hey, here we are. All right, okay, let's go. Demo mode. Okay, using document API. Oh, maybe I'm not going fast enough and you already start working on that. Okay, so open Swagger user interface. So to do so, you select the database you want to work with. So workshops, probably you have a single one, so not too hard. Then you go to the connect. And because there is Stargate, there are so many ways to connect to your database. And for today, we are using the document API as I explained before. So here, this is the one we want to select. And here we will launch something called Swagger UI. Swagger UI is generated client, web-based, to interact with the database. So in this document API, this is all the operations available. And there is nothing to code to implement to start using it. You can immediately test it. And this is what we will do now, just for you to feel what this document API is doing. Okay, so first operation that we will do is list the collection. So here we ask you to spot the resources get v2 namespace. It is the first one here in blue. If I expand these and let the UI load, here you can see that it's read-only. I cannot do anything, right? So the first things to do is to click on try it out button.
Yes, Cedric, it looks like we have a lot of. I'm not sure if that's because their database hasn't finished loading or what, but we should probably help them out.
Oh yeah, so let's ping the team at DataStax just to know what's happening. Yeah.
Well, if your database is still initializing, that could be the reason. And initializing fairly quickly, and then you can catch up.
Yes, please. But you know, as we stated before, we have a team behind us, and be sure that your concern has been raised to the Astra team just to make that working. So indeed, to interact with the document API, the database must be active, and sometimes to have the database active, it could take you know, a few minutes. So yeah, be sure that the database is active. Now for the 502, we're getting some insights to the team, and yeah, let's see who can help you in the chat. But me, I will move on for those who can who's working, and also to have the whole scenario recorded within the 2 hours, right? And also I know that we have a lot of people attending coming from Asia, so it must already be late for you. So thank you for staying with us. So here, to list the collection in a namespace, the only value I need to provide in the end is the namespace name. So here is the one we created all together. It's TikTok namespace. And then I click the execute the big blue button, and we did nothing yet, so it's empty, and that's expected. But then if you go to the second resources to create a collection, so this time to create a collection, it's a post, it's a green one, it's the second one. Create an empty collection. I will do exactly the same thing. First, I need to click try it out to have my field populated. I will reuse the same namespace.
Cedric? Um, and missed that part, and they're kind of looking for help.
Absolutely. So when your database is active, you select your database. Okay, you will end up with what we call the overview tab. Here you see how many requests we got in that active database. I will open the Connect tab. So I click on Connect tab. You see the third one. Then I have nothing to click because Document API is selected by default. So here it is. And so what I would like to do is to go to number 2, Launch Swagger UI. And this is the link that you can see here. What I did there is right click, open in a new tab. And this is why I have a tab with Swagger UI.
And just so you folks know, I saw some people asking if they needed to install Swagger. You don't need to install Swagger. It's running for your database right here, direct access, no need to install anything locally.
Perfect. So token, namespace, and for the body is the name of the collection. And we are not providing any special metadata, so we will just stick to the name. But it's possible to add some metadata. This is why it's a JSON and not just a plain text field. So here I'm executing this JSON. And hopefully I will get a HTTP code 201, which means created. Okay, that's the HTTP code to say, hey, something has been created, and that's what we want. It's our collection. So now quickly, if I go back to the first resources where we listed collection and I try to execute it again, well, this time I should have my collection created. Here it is, and it's called story. Keep moving. In that collection now, we want to create a JSON document. So listing the available resources, I will go into create a new document, and this time is 1, 2, 3, 4th resources. Create a new document. As before, I click try it out. The namespace ID had not changed. It's still tick.key space. The collection ID is the one we just designed together. It's story. And the document could be whatever you like. I mean, as long as it's the valid JSON, you should be good to go. So here I'm clicking here and pasting. And here it is. I do have a valid JSON. Here I put what a TikTok entry could be with the username, the ID, the video, the caption, how many likes. And I don't change anything else. I just click execute. Okay. So here again, 201. Yes, something has been created. So the HTTP code is 201. This time what has been created is a document. And we did not provide document ID in the request. So the document ID has been created for you. And this is huge ID here with, I don't know, so many characters. So in the next sample, at some point, this document ID is asked. So what I will do, I will copy this document ID, open a notepad and put that somewhere else because I will have to copy paste this guy very soon. So create a new collection, create a new document. So what do we want to do next? Well, you want to list what are the available documents in the collection and see if we can retrieve the document we just created. So for that, I'm moving to 2.1.e, search document in a collection. This time it's a search, so it's blue. See, all the blue resources are read-only, and green is to create, and red is to delete. So here, if I want to search, I will search documents. The collection is number 3. Okay, so opening that. And so try it out. And now you know that by heart. The namespace has not changed. It's TikTok namespace. The collection ID has not changed. It's story. And I can hit the execute, and I should get my document. But here what I did is select star, so retrieve me all the document. Maybe you want to have a where clause. You want to limit the document. I will create a where clause, but to get some result, because we know we have a single document, I created here a where clause where the username is equal to Maruk32. And here, if you look at my document, the username is actually Farouk32. So I copy paste that where clause, go up and put that where clause in here, and I execute. The where clause is executed, and I still have one record. It's there. But if I change the username and say, hey, I would like to see a user called Cedric, this time it's an empty result. Of course, the filter has been applied. And now I get an empty result. Obvious, right? Just a word, again, if you are using another document-oriented database, you feel familiar with the way to express a where clause. It is why it has been designed that way, to fit with existing database using Document API. So now we have searched a database. What can we do? We can update a document. Maybe I will speed up on this one. So to update a document, this one, it will be a put. So the put to update a document is, let's see, or to replace a document. So let's see. Replace data with document path. No, it's not really the one. I do not want schema either. Where is my put? Where are you? Put. Yeah, put. Create or update a document providing the document ID. Yeah, this is what I want to do. So now I will try it out. Namespace ID. Again, TikTok. Collection ID. Again, story. Document ID. Oh, document ID is actually the one that I here put in my notebook. So I will copy, move my notebook, and paste. All right. Okay. Okay. So now this is my document, and I will simply update my document using this JSON. And this time the username, hey, can I this time say Cedric? Oh boy, it's taking forever to refresh. Okay, here it is. And then I will execute. Okay, code 200. It seems to be happy. It has been executed. So now, if I search document in a collection and provide the username Cedric, I should have an entry, right? And to be honest, this is why I put Cedric in the first place. And I execute, I should find back my data. Here it is. So create, read, update. What do we miss? Delete the document from its ID. Nothing special here. Go to the delete. Oh, I don't want to delete the full collection though. I just want to delete one document. So to delete one document, it's a red one, but I should have the document ID in the path. Here it is. Delete a document. And no surprise, to delete the document, it will always be the same field. Namespace ID, locate where it is. Collection ID, story. Document ID, the one that we keep working with. Here it is. Here it is. And when you execute a delete successfully, the response code is 204, which is no content, HTTP code for no content. That's expected, right? I mean, you go 204 and you're happy. If I execute the same again with the same parameters, this time I will get 404 because the resource has not been found. The document does not exist. So yeah, let's try it if I can get a 404. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, did I execute that a second time? I'm not even sure. Maybe it's just okay. Loading now. All right. And this time I get you. Oh no, it's still. Yeah, it's okay. It's still happy. Okay, I would expect a 404. Yeah, nevertheless. Okay. So let's keep moving. Now that you know how to use this document API, it's time to code. It's time for you to use this API. So as of now, to interact with this API, the credentials, the user password, the token has been populated for you. You know, each time this first field is already pre-populated for you. But if we start coding, we will need a way to authenticate against the API. And that's what we call a token. So 2.2.a will explain you how to get that token. And it's quite important. So let's have a look. Here I'm back on the Astra UI. To access this token screen, I will go to organization settings over here. Menu, click current organization, your name, drag down, organization settings, and you're good to go with this UI. There, tokens management, because we want to create a new token. A couple of tokens are there, which should not be, you know, just saying. So I will flush all these tokens after the session. Not sure why they are still there. So here I will generate a new token called database administrator. Here I will click, oh no, even organization administrator. Let's be the big boss. Oh yeah, database administrator is good enough. So generate token. Okay. So now the token are displayed to me. Client ID, client secret, user name, password, and the token. The one we will absolutely need today is the third one, the token. So what I will do, I will copy the value, try to find my notebook over here, and remove the document ID. We don't need that, but put my token here. Okay. And each time I will need that token to code, I will copy paste that value. So moving you away. And for security reason, this token is shown to you only once. So not to lose it, we ask you to download it. So it will take a few moments. And here I download my token. In the instruction, you can see that the token that I'm creating in front of you right now, it's kind of a security breach. I mean, you can go back, pause the video, copy paste that token and start using my database. This is why as soon as the session is over, or if you are watching a recording, the token that you see on screen does not exist anymore. Okay, so now that we know how things works, let's move forward and use that database to do something. Yeah, and I see that Kirsten answering all your questions. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
We do have several who are still having trouble with the initialization of their database even now. So I just wanted people to know you can start here. You don't need to. All the Swagger stuff was just sort of teaching you how the interaction worked, and you can go back and look at it later. But if your database is ready now, you can start here at the token management, which is going to be using different data. So you can jump back in.
Okay, all right. So almost ready to jump to lab 3. I know everybody wants to jump to lab 3, but hey, just a few slides, okay? What we just did, we interacted with the document API available in Astra on top of Cassandra using the Swagger user interface. You got it. Now, what we want to do is to interact with document API, but with code, with JavaScript code. We will start building that backend. But to get that going, we will click that button, deploy to Netlify. The idea is to clone the repo for you to work with your own repo. That's very important that you work with your own GitHub repo. And it will start initializing what the web app would be on internet. It will give you a URL, and eventually, when we are done, our website will be available in that URL. That's kind of a prerequisite before the code, because we need you to work with your repository before coding. Okay? And when it's done, we will open Gitpod, you know, our VS Code in the cloud, and we will try to connect our JavaScript code to Astra. And I mean, you already know what's coming next. When we will be done with both of things, we will make sure that things that are running in Gitpod will be published to Netlify, and that your shiny website in Netlify will connect your database and interact with your data, the one that you created today. So let's have a look. I'm deploy to Netlify. So here I'm doing right click again, open in a new tab. Oh, okay, and because I open in a new tab, I will go here. So here we go. So today we told you that you will need a GitHub account. So it asks you to connect to GitHub. And to be honest, later we will use Gitpod, and it will also ask you to log in with GitHub. So here I'm clicking continue. Okay, so now it's asking me, hey, the first step that I will have to do is to create a repo in your own organization. So by default, it's called workshop Astra TikTok. Why me not calling workshop Cedric TikTok? You know, just to be sure that it's I can make the difference easily in between the one that was used as a template and the one that I will create. So save and deploy. So what's happening under the hood? Netlify will clone the repo for me in the repo called workshop Cedric TikTok, and will start deploying an static website with just what existing in the template, which is already something, but yeah, I do not expect any data. So I did 1, I did 2, I did 3, select an account, and now I'm on step 4. In Netlify user interface, I see sit deploy in progress. Indeed, this is what I see, that big yellow here. So let's scroll and go to this building. So here I am, and I'm clicking on this building just to see what's happening. And what Netlify is doing is taking our JavaScript code, build the code, and deploy in the web. So as of now, we are deploying the template. And of course, very soon we will have to edit the code to point to your database and not the template. So here I'm waiting for that to be okay. So here see, it's as of now it's still building. So the compile is done, and now it's building the function. We will explain you in a minute what are the function, and then it's deploy the website. And look at that, I do have this expected message in green, cyan. Netflix build complete, finished process built in 1 minute. Okay, so I am on step 6. It's deploy, we are happy. Let's scroll up here, and now I will click on my website over here. Here it is. I got the overview on my website. I already have a URL, and I can, you know, click that URL and see that I do have something running on my own. You also have your own app running with your own URL. How cool is that? But as you can see, it's empty, and it's empty because as of now, this app cannot access your database, does not have any backend, and cannot access the data you would have put in your database. So now our goal moving forward will be to fix it. Okay, so site overview, step number 8 will be to go to see our GitHub here. Git deploys from GitHub. So this is what I need to do now. Okay. So it is a lot of tab open. Okay, I got it. But here we are doing a real app, right? And the what will be available at the end, it's just cool. But that's required a few components. So here, as you can see, I am in my own organization. Again, very important. Be sure to be in your own organization. See Linven over here. And the repo name, it's not exactly the same because I decide to edit it. And it's Cedric. So I'm sure I'm exactly where I should be. And so now if I want to keep following the instruction, I will go to this button, which is open in Gitpod. So I don't need you. I really need to work with my own repo, not the template. Here it is. And here I will click on open in Gitpod. So let's open in a new tab. Okay, here it is. So let's see how it goes. Oh, no reference found. So if, like me, you got that error message, what you actually need to do is, and I will show you that, you need to enter the URL, which is gitpod.io.
Or you can just use Chrome.
Chrome, exactly. But here the URL is that, and let me copy that in the chat if you wish. So it's actually gitpod.io / the URL of your so your name, and here your repo. Okay, that's the template of URL you need to build if you are using Brave like me. But if you are using Chrome or Safari or, you know, Mozilla, I think it's working fine. It's just that Brave is kind of super strict on protection and everything, so no cookie allowed. And I think this button might leverage on cookies. Oh, speaking of cookies, and now I'm angry all of a sudden. And look at that. It can take a while to initialize your IDE. No surprise, it's doing a bunch of stuff. It's installing anything needed to run the app with npm and a couple of extra extra tool for everyone to ease the deployment. So how are we doing right now, Kirsten? What about the question?
We still have some people whose database is still initializing, which is we definitely need to get with the Astra team because that's just way too long. But if it does come up now, you can start from here. You don't have to go back later offline if you want to understand Swagger better. But if you guys have a question right now, or if you're still stuck, and we'll try to get you set up correctly. But there's no reason you can't just watch this and then do it after the GitHub instruction. So, and sometimes it's easier to do stuff that way. So,
thank you, Kirsten.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the DataStax team is looking into it. Okay, so yeah, it's taking forever for my Gitpod to initialize. Okay, it's coming. Oh, speaking of the homework submission, Miss Nate, do not worry. I mean, it's not like we have a week, you have a week. It's like we are constantly watching the homework submission, and when we see something coming, we review and give you the badge. Now, it's manual review, so it could take a few weeks for us to review. So yeah, be patient as well. And seems like initialization, it's done. It even opened the README here. I don't need the README. So what I would like us to work with is the terminal. Okay, so a lot of things has been created for us and work for us, and see, we already have this Astra logo in the terminal because we have installed the Astra command line interface, Astra CLI, to do some operation against Astra and configure your app. Okay, so there are tools from that, and we will really use that. Okay, so 3.2.c. First thing first, let's validate that I've not clicked on the DataStax repository, but I'm working in my own repo. So the first time you will copy paste from GitHub to Gitpod, you might have this warning. So I will simply allow the copy paste and git remove -v. Here you can see that I'm not working with the DataStax repo. I'm working with my own account called Clown. So I'm good.
Cedric, now I can see the bottom. I couldn't see the bottom of your terminal. But it's good now.
And speaking of which, it's like loud now. Come on, Kirsten, it's your fault. Allez, move. Let me push you there. Funny. All right. And yeah, speaking of which, let me make the terminal higher for everyone to see what we are doing. Let me hide this, even make it bigger, and even probably clear. Maybe to get it at the top.
Yeah.
Clear. Hey, yeah, it's better. I mean, here you will see what it looks like, and what we did before, it was just Astra with no parameter. This is why you saw this logo. So then we did git remove -v and validate that we are working in our own repo and not the DataStax one. So it seems like we are okay. So now this Astra CLI needs to be connected to your account. And to do so, you will enter the command Astra setup. Astra setup will ask you for a token, and then you will copy your token. Let me copy my token over here, and paste. And here you will see configuration had been saved. So you can do that in 2 steps, Astra setup and paste your token, or you can also do as written in the instruction, Astra setup -t and provide the token value. When it's done, you should see Astra config list that, hey, I do have my setup. So if I list the user in that organization, or let me clear to make that maybe. So if I do Astra user list, it will list me all the users in that organization. And here you can see that, you know, I'm there, and the DataStax Advocate team is there. So you can see names that you know, right? Okay, but we are not here to discuss about users. We want to connect to a database. So Astra DB list will get us the list of database running. And fortunately, we have a database called workshops. Hey, expected, right? Because we just created together. And if I want to get details on that database, I would say Astra DB get workshops. And now it will give me, hey, this is the database you created today. Oh no, actually it was existing for me, so it was created, 3 weeks ago. And you have actually 2 key spaces. One is called TikTok key space, and one is called intro GraphQL. So I will bet that somebody in the team did intro to GraphQL not so long ago and created the database at that time. But here we have TikTok key space. So now this database got a few parameters. The database ID, here a unique identifier for the database, a database region where the database is deployed, and the key space name. All those parameters should be inputs, should be parameters, should be variables in the app we are building. So how can we import those values into your app? To do so, we are using environment variables. There is a command in Linux to list the environment variables. You just use env, and here you see a lot of environment variables. Those values can be used in all the apps running. But here, nothing related to our database. So what we want to do is create some keys or some environment variables to be used in the app. So how do we do that? Well, the idea is to create a file called .env, and the .env look like keys equal value. So here, key equal the value, key equal the value, key equal the value. So to create this file, we will execute this command, Astra DB create.env workshop. It is the database that we are working with. -k key space TikTok key space, because we may have multiple key spaces in the workshop. That's the case today. And -r region, because also an Astra database could expand on multiple regions. Remember my slide in the beginning of the session when I show you that the same Cassandra cluster can be on multiple regions? This is how you do it, adding a new region to a database. So let's see. And now, if I show you what the env file look like, here the token is there, the one I provided before. Multiple URL are available if we want to use GraphQL. Not today. Today we want to use a document API. So it gave us the document API URL. Here it is. And it also gave us Astra database ID, Astra token, Astra region, Astra key space. So with that, the only command we need to execute for those values to be in the in the environment variables is source. If I do source dot env, and now if I list the environment variable again, just doing env, and this time I want to see everything that start with Astra. Oh, what it is? Oh, yeah. What are you doing, my friend? It should be there. Yeah.
I had issues with this before, where I needed to make everything an export, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I have that.
Okay.
Let
Let's.
me.
Yeah. I mean, let's see if I can fix that. Yeah. Let's see that. I mean, Netlify dev could do the same. Read the value from .env and make it in the context. If you see what
It doesn't put it in my environment though.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe not
think.
in the environment variables, but at least.
But Netlify dev will pull from the env file, so it's not necessary to have it in the environment.
Oh, it's not mandatory to get that in environment variables. The framework we are using will do that for us. So that's good. But yeah, if we want to have these environment variables, indeed, what we would have to do is maybe to yes, start each line with something called export.
Cedric, I put the line in Slack, so if you want to
you can.
do it, you
It's
can.
basically a bash.
It's a bash loop.
Oh yeah, okay. If my, oh yeah, just frozen for now. Yeah, okay, just for frozen for now. Okay, so let's keep moving then. Okay, so I'm not blocked in any way, just, you know, so I would just execute the command on 3.4 setup Netlify. So here it is. I'm installing the Netlify CLI. So that's, we just use Astra CLI, and now we will use Netlify CLI. And later on we will use Gitpod CLI. Okay, it's a success. All right. And now let's start the app. And this is where, you know, Kirsten, you told us that Netlify using .env package JavaScript that will read the .env and inject as environment variables. So here it is, and the app should be started and connected to the backend. Okay, so this first error is expected the first launch, because at the first launch your database is empty and has no collection whatsoever. So you can have these small error failed request at the very first start, but then it's moving away. So here, let me shut down that. Okay, so if I close that and run it again, this time I will not get my error, but I will have my post there. And here we go, no error. And here it is. We are our app running locally in Gitpod. But it's only here. Is it magic? You do not even have provided any value, and still we have something running locally. So what happened? This is exactly what we will explain to you. So hopefully you can keep up. So in a nutshell, when the app started and connected to the database, if the collection or the collections that this app needed was not available, the app created the collections. And once the collection has been created, it imported the value just to get this default screen. So now what I will do is go back to this Swagger UI that we have used before and see if something changed in my database, if we got something new. So this is the Swagger UI. I let it open, see. I can list the collection. Oops, let me, okay, document, list connection, try it out. TikTok key space, yes, and execute. Oh ho! So all together, we created a first collection called story. Of course you remember. And now when the app started, a new collection has been created, and this collection is called TKT post, for TikTok post. Okay, nice. So with that, maybe we can list what are the documents inside that TikTok post. All right, let's do it. So how do we list document in a collection? We did that before. We go here in the blue one, search document in a collection. I need to try it out again, it seems. Okay, try it out. Okay, TikTok key space, yes. The collection, no. Now the collection is the collection that the app created. TikTok post. And I don't want any where clause, so I will drop this where clause because I need to see what's in there. Okay, so I do see some data. So here I see 3 posts and a page state. So here we realize that each query is paged and the default page size is 3. But if I increase the page size here to, let's say, 10 maybe, I will execute again, and maybe I will get all the result without this paging state. See, now I do not have paging state. That means I got all the records. And every request is paged, and the idea is really to not get too large payload. So anyway, so the database has been populated and some data has been provided, and here I have a couple of posts. So here art is for everyone. So maybe if I go to the web UI and see art is for everyone, we would see one of those. The doc are mega cute. Let's see. Art is for everyone, maybe the first one, the new normal. Oh, it's not even. Oh yeah, I see here. Oh, so what is displayed if it's not that? Lana Del Monte, when you fries, give you attitude, gain your belly, and Angela lies, the new normal. So actually, it's not displaying this one. Okay, all right, not sure why it's getting those values, though. It should be the same tweet. Yeah. Anyway, keep moving. The new normal. Yep. Yeah, not sure why. Oh, happiest of birthday, my angel. This one, I'm sure I saw it. So it should be the same. It just died. I don't know how to read. But anyway, here it is. So what you see on screen is actually what you got in the database. I could now go using the document API, update the document, and see that got updated immediately. But we still have some path to go, so I will move on and say, so when you start the app locally, something has been created on the database. All right. How is that possible? Well, I mean, hope it's not a surprise for you. The code is there and the code is implemented for you. So to connect your app to Astra Document API, we are using a library called Astra JS. So if you look on the project package.json, you will see Astra JS collection, which is the library we want to use. npm import us the library, and so we can import that library is one of our code and say add data. So here we are using Astra Client Utils. So let's start with Astra Client Utils over there. And here it is. To connect our app to Astra, we use the values in the environment variables, Astra DB, Astra region, Astra token. And we created an object or a variable, not an object. I'm sorry, I'm the Java guy. Okay, an object, a variable called Astra Client. With Astra Client, we were able to retrieve the collection we want to use by stating Astra Client got namespace. And here we got the namespace got collection. And here it is. We got the collection TikTok post. And so everywhere we can just invoke this get collection and work with it. So when the app starts, it will invoke add data actually. And in the add data, it will call get collection. And this is static data imported. So what it will do, it will post.create. So use that collection and send the data to the document API to actually create those documents. Okay, all right. And this is why when the app started, add data is executed and you get this data populated in the database. Okay, so this is what is written in length here. 4.2.1.a is the client initialization. 4.2.b is the use of get collection, and here we are invoking create. So now when you need to update the document, you are reusing the same variable and invoke update or invoke find to list the post, or even delete if you want to delete. Okay, and this is actually what has been done here in those 4 files in the functions folder. If you go to the JavaScript, here you got add. So here we are using the collection to create a new post. In edit, we are using the collection to update an existing post. And to here the post, we are simply listing all the posts. Okay. But that is just JavaScript code. How this JavaScript code can be used in our app. And this is where Netlify comes into play. If you open Netlify, oh, again, in the package.json, we are using Netlify, Netlify CLI over here. Oops. Netlify CLI as dependency, and we also start the app with Netlify. So because we start the app with Netlify, Netlify will look in the file called netlify.tom and say, oh, when I start, what do I need to do? And it will simply build the app, and run the app, what you expect, but also it will look at a folder called function, of course, and each functions defined here with export handler async function in that file is exposed as an API. For you, you'd have nothing to do just by declaring these as function, it will be exposed as an HTTP API. So it's pretty cool, right? And if you here look at the log in my terminal, you see that when the app starts, it will use post to add the data and populate the database, and then get to list all the posts and display my user interface. It's as simple as that. So, okay, as a matter of fact, if you open your app, here, the seat overview, and go to, so this is my seat, and go to function, here it is, you should see the 3 functions that are running: add data, edit, post. Why? Because we simply have 4 files exactly with that name in that folder. And this is what is our backend. So our backend is an API, HTTP, and to get the endpoint, we simply create a new function in that file. I mean, a new file, just create a function, export handler here, async function, do whatever you like, and that function is a REST API. And both get and post HTTP method are available against that endpoints. So, you know, very, very cool. Not a lot of things to add on top of it. Okay, so we are our backend running. Netlify do Netlify run, build, and expose the function. So when Netlify did npm run, this is also where it started Node.js under the hood, and you got your front end going. So now that we are done with how the backend is done, what about the front end? Well, the front end has been created, you know, just starting npm create app, create reactive app. And at the very bottom of the instruction, you have a 1-hour video from Anya Kubo that actually build the React in front of you. So if you enjoy and want to go further, how the front end has been built, and you see Anya live coding the code, you see how exactly it has built. But the result is a React application with, in the src folder, index.js. So it's a React app with 2 pages. One page, so here you see the React router. 1 page is to do the upload, and 1 page is which is the home. So as of now, we only look at home. But if you want to see what it look like, so gp, what is the URL again? Where it's running? It's running on what port? 3000.
88.
Okay, so port. Yeah, let's see. So here bash, we do gp URL 8888 like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so here it is, and here it should. Yeah, you're right. So this is where it is. So this is slash, which is the page 1, and if I do slash upload, I will get to a page where here you can add a new post. And this page is actually quite basic. It's a HTML form, and when you post, you have a JavaScript function that will get both fields, create a JSON payload, and use the function, the backend post to add a new value in the database. So if you want to look at the code, here page upload.js, it's let me open that. Okay, it's a form. Okay, and here is a form, and when you submit the form, you invoke the handle submit function, and the handle submit function will create you your payload, replace caption and video, which are the two values sent to the form here, and it will create that in the database. Okay, right. No React component in the upload. It's just simple as an HTML form. Now, in the home page, well, this time we have a bunch of components. And as every React app, everything is a component. I put here the component name as a screenshot. I also have the same here as a slide. So quickly again. And here, no, so let's remove. So here it is, 2 pages. And in the home, in the home we got that. So header, mini card for each layer, the card here, micro card, follower columns. So if we jump into the components here, card, follower column, header, micro card. So if I want to list the card, plain and center, so I open card. So card is a React component, so import React from React. It's a function component. So here this is the input that it expects, user and toggle follow, and here this is how the component is rendered. It will use the payload coming from the API just to put the proper values here in the DOM of your HTML page. So not a lot to discuss really about the front end. It's there, you can study it, but in a React app, you will use a React router to get you multi-page pages, and then the component will render a part of the screen. The component will use a state, and here in the function you see in each component you see what are the inputs and how they are used here in the parameter of the function over here.
Can you talk a little bit about putting binary data directly into the database and how that works with the document API versus CQL, and if you have a special setup for that to work?
Yeah, sure. So a long story short, because the output is a JSON, you cannot have a binary output in the JSON. So what people tends to do when they need it, it's to encode the binary into base64. So if you want to use document API, 2 solutions, base64, or you can also, Cassandra is still there. You can have another table with the document ID and the binary you need, but it will not be retrieved in one code. And the reason is, in a JSON payload, you cannot have a binary. It's not a multi-part, if you wish. It's just the traditional JSON. All right, so 15 minutes left and lab 5, the big moment. So it seems like everything's working on my Gitpod right now, on my terminal, but it's not good enough, right? We want that app to run in the cloud.
We want our grandmas to be able to check out our... So we want to be able to...
Yes, and you want also to share the URL to us to review your homework, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so final moment, let's get that rolling. Okay, so let me hide the code and go to the terminal, full mode. Yep, Kirsten, you stay on the other side of the screen.
Fine.
Stay where you are. Okay, so first, the code has been cloned from the master, and Gitpod load the data from GitHub. But as of now, Gitpod is not really connected to Netlify. What we want to do is to connect Gitpod to push everything that we have done here into the Netlify website, Netlify site. So I will first log in. So here I'm using Netlify login connected to to Gitpod. So here you got these little wait for authorization. You need to copy that URL and open in a new tab because it will not be open automatically. So here it is. Netlify is now asking me to authorize input coming from here. Yes, I will authorize my Gitpod as a legit source to provide updates. See, you are now logged into your Netlify account. Isn't that cool? I'm connected everywhere. I'm connected on Astra, I'm connected on Gitpod, I'm connected on GitHub, I'm connected on Netlify. You know, that's the magic of CLIs. Okay, so now let's build the app. I think that's the next step. Oh, no, let's link. That's the tricky one. So link is actually, now I'm logged in. I would like now to link my code to what I'm doing right now. So here, current Git. This is what I need to do. Okay, it's really the first item of the list. As you can see, it's a multiple choice. What you want is really Git remote origin, which is the one in use as well. And look at that. Netlify was able to see, oh, so the website you tried to update is this URL, because I know this is the one connected to this GitHub repo. Okay, so now what we need to do is simply to, hey, as of now, locally, I have imported anything you need. Env, all the environment variables, they are in .env. Let's push all the values to the deployed website. And with that, the deployed website should be able to connect to Astra as well. And now I build. Okay, building. So it will take a while. So let's see. Oh, and during the time it builds, let me open a new tab. Okay, build. Okay, Netlify build complete. Okay, not enough. Now we will deploy our build. So let's do Netlify deploy prod. Waiting to go live. Okay, and look at that. It even tell me, hey, if you connect there, there is a good chance that the app is running now in the cloud. And voila, and it's working. And you know, it's a haha moment, right? I mean, for free, you can have a website built in JavaScript, rendered in static performance HTML, running for free, and the database in Astra is also running for free. So with that, I mean, you can build your own whatever app you like for free. And you know, before you hit that 80 million queries a month, everything's run for free. So I found it pretty cool. So you know, we're done with the instructions. So we're done with the hands-on. And if you reach that state, I mean, congratulations, you have your app running. And you know, each time you change something here in the code, you can just then do Netlify run build, Netlify deploy. and it will be deployed. It's you know, so good. Also, we linked the website to the GitHub repo, so when you commit your modification, you can also ask the website to get updated with anything that has been committed to GitHub. So it's so cool. By the way, now that everything is running, maybe I can go to deployment settings, and let's see. Is there a way for me to customize the URL? I think at some point there were, but you know, it's maybe not the... Oh, see all my environment variables there, ready to go and ready to edit. But at some point it was possible to edit.
You can get a custom domain, but I'm not sure about the process.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, domain management, let's see. Option, edit seat name. You know, let's see. Cedric is awesome. No, data stacks is awesome. It's like, it's not me that built that repo, it's a team effort, right? Save. Okay, let's see. Oh, so let's see now. What would be my URL? Cedric is awesome.netlify. I mean, isn't that cool? You know, now I even have a website called datastacksisawesome.netlify.app, and it's working. Okay, all right, it was quite some ride. So a couple of questions for you. Let's all together maybe yeah, let's do a little quiz together, because 7 minutes left, and let me go in presentation mode. If my laptop is not exploding right now, we should yes, present, please present. Okay, quiz time. Okay, so now to enter the game with me, to close the session, go to menti.com and enter the code. Oh man, it's written on screen. 23 22 21 58. Okay, so let's see if my laptop can... all right, okay. And yeah, I mean, you will have... here we go. You know, let's get together here. Okay, all right. So that's the code, and I will wait for the players. So I think we are still 30 plus on YouTube, almost ready to go. And let's see how many we have here with time, if Menti is starting. But you know, to be honest, my laptop is dying. So here, let's see if I can... okay, waiting for player. All right, here we go. We only have 6 players. Yeah, we still have time to go. Or maybe it's just my laptop that is dying. Okay, 6. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, we can play... oh, 7. Here you go.
There we go. We have 8.
Yes. Okay, anyway, 10. I think we have our quota. So anyway, you will see your name on screen. So, you know, that's just 4 questions to end the session and have fun together. So YouTube has a little delay. So housekeeping, if you... the fastest you answer, the more points you get. So if you want to be the fastest, look at your phone, look at your tab, and not on YouTube. because YouTube got, I know, as I keep talking, a few delay. And now for not us being on top of all the the question, I will put us there. So let's go. Answer fast to get more points. Question 1. What is Astra? It's not hard today. So a car by Opel, it's a local in-memory database, it's Cassandra as a service in the cloud, or it's a development tool. It's a cloud platform for sure. Wow, look at that. Perfect score. Yeah, it was easy. Okay, who was the fastest though? Brand the broken. Okay, but Bruce Lane was the fastest. So you lead the way, but you know, not by a large margin. So let's go to question 2. Everybody's ready. Let's go. And for fast to get more points. What is Stargate? I mentioned it in the beginning of the session. Pay attention. It's a TV show. It's an API framework. It's a gateway to the start. It's a new video game. Yeah, perfect score again. Indeed, it's an API framework, the one we use today. Come on, it's also a TV show and a movie. I mean, who did not see Stargate? You know, SG-1 with Captain O'Neill. I mean, I love this TV show. I've heard that it may come back, actually, after Stargate Atlantis and Stargate Universe. Cannot wait for the new Stargate. Okay, so how about the leaderboard? Okay, Roxana took the lead, takes the lead. Okay. 2 more questions to go. So answer fast to get more points. Which APIs allows to save and search schemaless JSON in Cassandra? Okay, this one, I bet we did a good job today to cover. And yeah, it was all about the document API. Indeed, that's totally the purpose of the session today. So no excuse. Okay. Let's see. Roxana again. Bruce and Alowop. Okay, MT, Iraj. Raju, Tofu, Shahir, Shiva, Kai. Okay, our last question for today. We are on time, folks. 4/4. What is the main benefit of using serverless function? The one that would expose REST for you. I only need one function to retrieve my data. No backend infrastructure needed. None. Serverless function are only for local development. Well, at least the third, you know it's incorrect, right? Because we deploy in production. And
Don't give them the answers.
yeah, okay, right. Yeah, one is, could have been considered as, good enough. Yeah. Anyway, it's not like our goals are at stake. Not like in 1 hour semi-final of the World Cup. Come on. Oh, Roxana, yeah, maybe you answer first response, and yeah. But this time, Bruce Lane is a winner, so congratulations, Bruce. It was very fun to stay up to now. What else do I have for you? Well, the slides and everything are on the GitHub repo. As I told in the beginning, if you got questions after the session, we will be there to answer on Discord. to answer the homeworks. It's all written in the description on GitHub repo. And if you stay with us up to the end, it's really the time to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are not done already, because we are there every week, and we'll go on hiatus only December the 28th between Christmas and New Eve. But we are still back next week, and we will also be back on January the 4th. So with more content to come, more Cassandra learning. I think next week will be introduction to Cassandra, deep dive Cassandra. And in January, we will go over like Cassandra fundamentals, Cassandra data modeling, and building code with Python and Java this time. So, make sure to subscribe and get notified for those. But with that, I think it's a wrap up. Maybe Kirsten, you want to say a free word? You were very active on the chat today, and you were very helpful as usual.
I'm so glad that people stuck with it and followed along, even though we were having some issues, and we're really sorry about those issues. And what I want to say is, when you do come back to play with the recording later, and you have questions, please bring them up in Discord, because that's where we are. There's a workspace chat in the Discord, and or workshop chat, and that's where you'll find us in between the workshops. The YouTube chat goes away as soon as we're done recording here. So
yeah, exactly. So again, thank you very much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day. Go and watch the soccer match if you can. I mean, that's totally the day, right? And hope to see you next week. Probably not both of us, but hope to be back soon with all of you live on this channel. Thank you, and see you next time.